Okay. Today, class, which only consists of one student, Mr. Albert, we are going to be learning something called order of operations. Order of operations is pretty much what it says. There's an order to the way you operate your math. That order is known as PEMDAS, or from what a lot of students remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, right? Each of that's an acronym to memorize your order. Pretty much it says you must do all of your parentheses first. Whatever is inside the parentheses, you have to do first. After that, you must do all your exponents, which is powers and roots. That's what we did yesterday, remember? That's what exponents are. Powers and roots. Then comes multiplication and division. And then adding and subtracting. But watch out for these two over here. Watch out for those, okay? Because in school, it was taught like this. PEMDAS was taught like that, right down the middle, right? But that's wrong. Because having it like this tells you that multiplication comes before division. And that's not correct. Okay? This is not correct. The rule is, in fact, you do both of they are both equally important. Multiplication and division are equally the same. You just do whichever one comes first. So if you have a problem like this, you must do the division first because it comes first. It comes from left to right. You see that? You just do this one first. What's 2 divided by 2? Then you bring down the times 5, and then you do the multiplication. What is 1 times 5? And that's your answer. If this was different, let's say it was something like 2 times 2 divided by 1, guess what? You do 2 times 2 first. You see that? Because it just happens to come first. You work from left to right. That's 4. Then you bring that down. What's 4 divided by 1? Yep. Yep. So that's why it's important to have this in your head. This right there. Multiplication and division are both equally the same. You just do whichever one comes first. And that same rule applies to the adding and subtracting. Same rule. That right there is order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, adding and subtracting. So how about we look at an example? You ready to do an example? Here we got this. Tell me, Albert, what must I do first? What does order of operation tells us? What must we do always first? Yep. Which reminds you of what? Never heard of it. In your country? PEMDAS, yeah. So B stands for brackets, right? So you learn something new every day. So in this case, you want to do the parentheses, or from what you remember, brackets, right? Same thing. And sure, there are some parentheses in here too, right? But is there anything to do inside that parentheses? Is there any operation inside? Well, inside this parentheses, all it is just one number. There's nothing to do. So guess what? You don't do anything just yet with this. You don't touch it yet. But look inside this parentheses. Is there anything to do in there? Oh yeah, we got 6 plus 4 times 2, right? So we now work inside here first. Forget about everything else. Just focus your eyes on what's inside. Ask yourself, what do you do first inside? Do you do 6 plus 4 first? Or do you do 4 times 2? Yes, 4 times 2 is what you do first. You know why? Because multiplication comes before addition. So, what's 4 times 2? Okay. A lot of students, this is where they mess up. They just jump ahead, right? But no, make it a habit, all right? Bring everything else down. Every time you change something, just bring it down. So you bring everything down the way it looks. This is done. This is done. You see that? You're going to do your work step by step. So now tell me, we're still inside this parentheses. What must I do now? Exactly. What does that become? And then bring everything down. Every time you change something, just rewrite the whole problem. That's going to help you out a lot. 4, 3 minus 2 plus. You could bring down the parentheses. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make it a habit, yeah, but it doesn't do anything in this case, the parentheses. So tell me now, what must I do first? Just looking at this right here. What are all my operations? If you didn't know, this means multiplication right there. Right? Any number next to another number with no operation in the middle, there's no plus, there's no subtraction, it means multiplication. 3 times 5, right? So, we have multiplication here. We have 3 minus 2. We have 2 plus 14. What do I want to do first? Huh? Yep, we have 3 different operations. We have an addition problem, we have a subtraction problem, or we have a multiplication problem. What do you want to do first? What do you need to do first? Four times 3, yep. What does that become? Bring everything down, right? I'm bringing everything down. All right, what do you do now? You have 12 minus 2 plus 14. So you want to do the 2 plus 14? No, no, no. Remember this. Adding and subtracting are both equal. You just do whichever one comes first. From left to right. So, which one came first? The addition or the addition or the subtraction? So I got to do this first. What's 12 minus 2? Bring everything else down. Now, what's 10 plus 14? $24 is your answer. So as long as you follow the order of operations, as long as you follow your rule, pretty much, and as long as you rewrite your problems, order of operations could be extremely easy. And, dare I say it, extremely fun. How about we do another example? Did you get all this down? You could continue writing it if you're not done. Already got it? Cool. So this one's a little bit more complicated, okay? Look at this. This one looks scary, right? This one looks scary. But as long as you follow the order of operations, you can do this easily. So tell me, what comes first? What does the order of operation tell us? Yep. Where's the brackets at? Where's the parentheses at? I got one right there, right? Could I do what's inside? Of course I could. What must I do on the inside? Exactly. That's the only thing to do inside. So I got to do it. What's 5 plus 3? Yes. And if you change something, remember, rewrite your whole problem. All right. Now what do I got to do? What if I've already done? Is that all the parentheses there are? Well, technically, is there anything to do left inside the parentheses? No, because it's just an 8. Is there anything to do inside this parentheses? No, it's just a 1. There's nothing to do inside the parentheses. So because there's nothing to do inside, you move down your list. What's next in the order of operations? Don't remember? What's next after parentheses? No, parentheses is right there. What comes next? Yep, and if you remember what that means, it means powers and roots, right? Is there any powers or roots here? Where? Yeah. So guess what? I got to do this first. 8 squared. What's 8 squared? What's 8 times 8? Ha, did you memorize your perfect squares? What's 8 times 8? Good, 64. You rewrite your problem. Okay. We're getting it smaller and smaller. What do I do now? Yeah. Ask yourself, what operations do you see? What operations do you see? I have a multiplication there. I have an addition there. I have a division there. Which one do you want to start off with? 64 divided by 4, right? You have to do the division first. What's 64 divided by 4? $64 divided by 4. Do we want to do this by hand? How many times does 4 fit into 6? Creating 4. How many times does 4 fit into 24? Creating 24 with the remainder 0, 16, right? That's how you divide by hand. You're going to want to do stuff by hand. 16 plus 3 times 1. All right, we're getting it closer. What do we do now? $16 plus 3. So you want to do the addition before your multiplication? Is that what the order of operation tells us?
Yeah, I remember you doing the same thing again because always we start with the left.
You must, before addition, you got multiplication and divisions before it, right? So we already did this division because it came before the addition, but I still have a multiplication there. You must always do multiplication and division before ever doing addition or subtraction. So tell me, we're not going to do 16 plus 3, no. We're going to do 3 times 1 first. What's 3 times 1? Now you could do 16 plus 3, right? What's 16 plus 3? We're trying to do stuff step by step. Don't ever jump ahead. What's 16 plus 3? 19 is your final answer. Do you see that? Yeah. As long as you have PEMDAS, or in your case, BODMAS, as long as you have that in your head, you're safe. Always repeat it in your head. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it in your head. And just like that, that's order of operations. Are you ready to do the worksheet? Because that's order of operations right there. I'll leave this up for you. Oopsies. All right, let's do our worksheet.